it's a full moon, we all observe 8 precepts. So at least on that day, we try to observe the 8 precepts. So it was suggested that someone suggested in one of our other groups that whether we could practice it even every day. Shouldn't we? Because it has so much of so many benefits. So I'm glad that you all suggested, and it was your idea to observe the 8 precepts. So I will explain you the meaning first, and then with understanding, let's observe it. Instead of we doing it first, blindly doing it without knowing the meaning, I think it's more beneficial if we first go through it, and you will you understand it by heart, and then we can observe the precepts. Okay, so let me start the program. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Teruan Saranai, and we welcome all of you to the program, and so happy to see you all. So we are now trying to live our life meaningfully. That's the whole point of, we being joining these programs and listening to the Dhamma. So what the Dhamma does, it deepens our understanding about life and the meaning of life, and what should we do in this short time that we are visiting the earth, and what's the best thing we can do in this short period of time when we are on earth. So it actually helps us to develop our understanding, and more we being listening to the Dhamma. I think you all have, some of you have come to that understanding where, wow, it's good to live with the Dhamma. It's good to incorporate the Dhamma into our day-to-day life, and not even just keeping the 5 precepts. But it's so good to observe the 8 precepts daily, if possible. And I was so glad to hear that from one of the participants in this group. So because that gave me an indication that conducting these groups is worth, because you are absorbing the Dhamma, you are understanding something. And I also want to check whether that person who asked that question, have they logged in? Because without even waiting for people who started, all of you are here?
Yes, everybody's here.
Yes, Meherindransa.
Good. Okay. So now I will go through the meanings, and I will show you also the scientific basis to do this. Like what Buddha said, whatever that Buddha had told us, it'll only do good for us. There's no instructions, there's nothing that Buddha had taught that brings us stress, or that destroys us or some other person, or that it brings the destruction, or it leads to suffering. No. Anything and everything that our Lord Buddha had taught us leads to success. This world and even the world beyond. While you're living here and now, and even hereafter, and even the life after. Everything. Because it was taught with so much understanding, not with blind faith or with a blind belief, or because it was said in a book or because it was someone so and so said this. No, Buddha didn't go with any of those. Buddha by himself understood everything. And with that understanding, Buddha taught. So this is why until today, no one had been able to disprove the Buddha's pure teaching. No one had been able to challenge it, no scientist even. Only what they have been doing is today agreeing, little by little more they find the Buddha's teachings and what it means and everything. The science is backing up about what Buddha taught. So it's even yesterday I was talking about this. There was a bunch of young children. And what I was saying is that this is not a religion. This is not something that we have to believe blindly. This is not something we have to do to escape going to hell, or we want to get rewards to go to heaven. This is something that we all try to do, try to live in a way because it's going to help us. Because it's going to help us to reduce the stress and to live a stress-free life. And we can experience it here and now, whether we are stress-free or not. So we don't need anyone's approval. We don't need someone confirming it. We don't need an agent to do that. We ourselves can find whether I'm stress-free. So as a result of that, I have no stress. I am so peaceful and happy. So I don't have to pray for anyone. I don't need to ask for prayers. I don't need to wait for someone's mercy. I can do it myself. So this is more like do it yourself. So Buddha's instructions are there. That's what we call the suttas, the Dhamma. But what I find is why people are not benefiting is they are not doing it. That's where the problem is. People are not putting this into practice. They are not incorporating this into their life. So they are not really getting the benefit 100%. So they don't realize the value of his teaching. That's where the problem is. So they don't really see the value in this. So they just live the way they want, what the eyes tell them, the ears tell them, the nose tell them, the tongue tell them, the body tell them, whatever that their, chitta wants, they just go with that. They don't realize that these senses don't have a brain. They can't think. They can't pick and choose the right from the wrong, the good from the bad. They don't realize that. These senses, when it's activated with this path, the chitta, they're only interested in getting what they want. Going with the pleasant sensations, or only experiencing the pleasant feelings and wanting to have more and more pleasant feelings. Or if we don't like the unpleasant feelings we are experiencing, we are only interested in getting rid of them. In the good way or the bad way, it doesn't matter. I'm only interested in getting rid of it. So most of us are using these two methods to find happiness. And that is what is called the Kama Sukhalikanu Yoga and the Ata-Sil Yoga. And Buddha pointed out that this is not going to work. Using the pleasant feeling and using the unpleasant feeling and you meddling with them, you will not get that happiness that you're looking for. You won't be able to be free from the suffering you're experiencing. So, what Buddha pointed out is there is a way to live, but it's to do with living with understanding, to know that there is these senses, and to know that when these senses are stimulated, you experience, you get feelings, either pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. And now how to face it? Because if you start to go after the pleasant sensations and you start to develop the desire for that, and you start to get the wish and wanting to have more and more of it, and you develop all this we develop all these ideas and wishes, and we develop our whole world hoping that the pleasant feelings can bring us happiness. So we will devote our whole life looking for the pleasant feelings and to develop them and to be with them until we die. But it's a futile effort, because these pleasant feelings are fleeting. You didn't create them. You didn't ask them to come. You got nothing to do with it. As and when the proper causes and conditions were there, they arose. And when those causes and conditions which brought it is no longer there, that pleasant feeling also will disappear. So it appears and disappears according to the Paticca Samuppanna method. And it's a way. When certain things are there, it comes to be. When that is not, this is not. So we are not the one who is creating it. So we cannot control it. It's not under our control. So if we try to find happiness by using that pleasant feeling, that fleeting pleasant feeling, we only get disheartened, we get frustrated, we get very unhappy, we only get stress from that. The same thing with the unpleasant feelings too. We have no control over them. It comes and goes as a Paticca Samuppanna way. So, depending on the causes and the conditions, they come and go. So if we don't realize that all these three types of feelings, the pleasant, unpleasant, and the neutral feelings, they work the way how the proper causes and conditions work. So we have no control over. So if we don't understand that, we try to only keep what we like, and we wish to get rid of what we don't like, the unpleasant, we are only heading for more and more frustration, more and more unhappiness. This is what's happening today. Because people don't know the underlying causes of this. They are just caught up in that surface level. It looks like when there is pleasant feeling and you enjoy that and you go after it, it feels like, yeah, that's the way to be happy. I mean, it makes sense, right? You have a pleasant feeling and you enjoy it. So if you have more and more, you can be more and more happy. Why not? That's how it looks like. It appears like. So everyone is caught up in that. But this is like a trap. Even though it looks like that, when you try to keep these pleasant feelings, or you try to live just only by experiencing pleasant feelings, and you try to create your environment only to have the pleasant feelings, like I was saying last time, even now, even our toilet papers have a scent. As if our bum has a nose and our bum has eyes, the toilet papers are using ink to print lavender or the sea fish or the whatever the pictures in the toilet paper. So we use ink to wipe our bum, and also we put even scents as if our bum has eye and the nose to enjoy that. But anyway, maybe it's the eye in the face that and then the nose in the face that they want to please. But anyway, it has come to that level where even we can't use a toilet paper without scent. So even while you are in the toilet, we want to be experiencing the ultimate comforts and luxuries, and we want to please our senses, including the bum, to the max. So this is where we are heading now. But while we are doing these things, we are crying. We keep on crying, saying, I'm unhappy, please come and help me. I have no strength, I have no energy. I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't face this, I can't sleep, I can't stand me being alone. Whole day we keep on grumbling and complaining, and a lot of the time we have to go and see the GP or the psychologist or the psychiatrist or counselor. We need to talk to someone. Why? Because we are so unsettled, we are so unhappy, we are not satisfied. There's something not right there. But we are bathing ourselves with all that luxury and everything that we wish to have, all these pleasant feelings, the way we want to experience, we are managing them. But what we haven't realized is this is what Buddha pointed out. This is why we need a Buddha to come and point this out, because it's so hidden. It's so hidden that even though it looks like from the pleasant feeling we can get so much happiness, it's so hidden that when we try to do this, we have to invest without knowing what we are doing is we are investing our time, our energy, our money, our everything to get the pleasant feelings and then derive happiness from that. But without we don't realize that, they come and go, and they come and go depending on the proper causes and conditions helping it to arise, only until that time period that it's there, when the causes and conditions created that disappears, this will also disappear. We don't realize that. So Buddha pointed out all our experiences has this nature of this anicca. That is the characteristic of our experience, anicca. Anicca means we went through last time on the Anatta Lakkana Sutta that Buddha pointed out. Buddha asked the monks first, monks, this experience that you experience, this pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling, that experience that you go through, the Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, whether you talk about one or the whole five, you need to apply this because that happens together. So Buddha is asking whether this will, now we were talking about the Vedana, so I'm just going to take the Vedana part. Whether this Vedana will behave the way you want. If you tell the Vedana to be in this way, oh, because it's a pleasant feeling, just stay there. Or because it's an unpleasant feeling, just go away, don't come back. Whether it will obey your command. Just because you wish it to be like this, for it to be this way, will it follow your command? And the monk says, no, Bhante. It's not in our command. We cannot really control it. It's not under my control. Then Buddha asked them, then is it in the nature of the anicca or nicca? Then the monks reply, oh Bhante, so it's anicca. So then the Buddha asked, if something is not under your control, not under your power, and you can't control it the way you wish, if it's anicca, does that bring you stress or happiness? Does that bring you suffering or happiness? Then the monk says, oh, Bhante, yes, it brings suffering. It brings so much stress. Then is it worth regarding it as something that is valuable? Does it have an essence? Does it say, can we call that experience I, me, or myself? Or does it have any value in it, essence in it? No, Bhante. Then it's anatta. So Buddha pointed out, not just this feeling, but Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, all these five that makes our experience is in the nature to anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So, the Buddha pointed out then, because this experience is in the nature to anicca, then it brings suffering, therefore it brings stress to us, suffering. So is it worth going after this type of experience? If an experience is anicca, is it worth going after an anicca experience? Is it worth going after the Vedana that is in the nature of anicca? Is it worth trying to experience it or trying to get rid of it? No, because it's not under your control. If something is not under your power, you can't do anything. You will only get frustrated. So what Buddha points out is that not to engage with this, but to understand this. So when you understand the nature of your seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, and your moods and whatever that you experience, is not worth getting caught up in it or fighting with that just because you don't like. There's no point. No, it's no point just because it's a pleasant experience, you getting attached to it or you wishing more and more for it. Ultimately, it will only bring you stress when it changes and when it disappears. And there is no way, no matter how much you love it, how much you want it, how much you invest in it, you can keep it forever. No way. The unpleasant feeling, no matter how much you wish for it to not to be there or not to experience it, but if the proper causes and conditions are there for that type of a experience to arise, it will come. And after it's arisen, you cannot get rid of it. And you cannot stop it arising again as well, if the necessary causes and conditions have appeared. So that is not also under your control. So no point you having this aversion towards these unpleasant feelings. So if we go in this way to find happiness by getting attached to the pleasant feelings and by hating the unpleasant feelings, and we try to separate our experience into these two categories and we react in two different ways, and our whole life is that, working towards so hard to working so hard to only to keep the pleasant experiences and to get rid of these unpleasant experiences. We will only come to a very frustrated point. That frustration is what we call, when the stress has built up, that when you have so much frustration going on morning to night, night to morning, day by day, weekly, monthly, it's called depression. And it will lead to such unhappiness that one day you will decide, it's not worth even living for this. I'm wanting happiness and I'm not happy and I only have unhappiness. I'm so sad, I'm so uncomfortable, I have so much pain, this, that, and the other, and you will look forward to die. You will say, it's better to die than live, because I want happiness and I don't have it. So what's the point me living? It's better to leave. This is how we come even to the suicidal point. So it's such a dangerous path and a futile effort to put into, um, to satisfy your these pleasant feelings, and you engage in wanting to get rid of these unpleasant feelings, thinking that's the way to find happiness. So it is only a Buddha will appear in the world and show this. What is hidden in this pleasant feeling? If you get attached to the pleasant feeling and you go after that and you develop the desire and you develop the greed for that, and you work your whole life to achieve that, and by going that to find happiness, you will only end up destroying your life one fine day, sooner or later, in this life, or even maybe even afterlife. Okay, so now that Buddha had pointed out that no point we going after these pleasant feelings, and now we can see it very clearly. Really, it's not working. We can see when you look at the West, when you look at rich people, when you look at famous people, when you look at people who can have all these things that we think can bring happiness, you look into their lives and you see, oh my God, some of them are even worse than the poor people. Some of their suffering, levels of suffering is so high that you think, අයියෝ, how මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට තිබිලත් දුක් විඳිනවානේ කියලා. So, if we really don't understand the real truth behind this, even if we are so rich in the wealth or the fame or the power, or even if you have plenty of everything, we can't be happy. If you go down this way, you will only get more and more tired and more because you can't get these pleasant feelings for free. You need to spend money, so you have to work hard. So your energy you have to invest. You have to invest everything you have, and you don't get a good return as you expect. So this is why we get more and more frustrated and end up in that real bad state. So now that we can see it right in front of our eyes, the people who walk on this path, try to follow these pleasant feelings and to get happiness, are only getting frustrated and they are only living a very unhappy life. Now it's time we pay close attention to the Buddha's Dhamma. Because I think this is where we are going wrong, where not many understand what Buddha had taught. They don't understand. So because we don't understand, we don't practice this. We also blindly follow the West and the other teachers who have taught, no, please your senses as much as possible, because you only have one life. You should practice it. You should spend your whole life, and you should teach your children also to please your senses as much as you can, because that's the way to find happiness. That's what most of the people teach us, the majority in this world. The people with the name, the fame, the power, the wealthiest, the well-known, the educated, everyone tells us that. So we think that is the truth. We think, wow, yeah, everyone is saying that, so that must be the path. But it is not. The Buddha actually said something so radical that you really need to pay attention to what Buddha said to see this. Only if you listen carefully and investigate closely, you will see Buddha is correct. And what Buddha is teaching is the opposite of what these normal people are teaching us. These well-known, powerful people. But what Buddha is teaching is totally opposite to it, but it's so correct. So, more than any other time, now when we open our eyes and have a look around, we can see this. Yes, Buddha was correct. So now it's up to us to follow the norm blindly and get to their destination right in front of our eyes, we can see the highest cause of death. The highest cause of death is suicide, and so we know where it is going. So we can follow the norm blindly and end up in that miserable state and destroy your, not only here and now in this life, but even the life after. Or we really want to stop running and stand still and think, and then you make conscious decisions where you want to go. So sometimes it will appear to you that it's not the direction that you're going now that you have to take. That's not the right direction. So whether it's a U-turn, whether it's, turning to a different direction, that will only come to your mind if you really investigate the Dhamma, and then you think for yourself, and then it will appear to you which direction you should be going. So sometimes it can be a U-turn. But then that's when the virya is very important, the energy, the virya is very important, that we exercise our brain, our mind, and what we do then, we discipline ourselves, we teach the truth, then we discipline ourselves, and we start to live a life in a meaningful way, and we go into the right direction. Even though not many other people are walking in that direction, it doesn't matter. We have the trust and the faith in the Buddha, the confidence, and now we see it for ourselves. So we are confident now, even though others are not walking in that direction, it looks empty. It looks very පාළු පාරක් වගේ නිකන්. කවුරුත් යන්නේ. ඒක යන්නත් අමාරු. But even though it's so difficult to walk in that path, and you can't see many going there, it doesn't matter. We make a decision, no, I will do it because it's worthy. Because that is the direction that will have the real happiness. That is where you can find the real happiness, if that is what you wanted. And that is the human quest. So only if we follow what Buddha had taught us, we really can get to that destination to get that real happiness. That is the pure truth. We can meddle with anything and everything, what the whole world has given us. But we will only get fleeting moments of pleasures, and we will only get addicted to experiencing these pleasant feelings and trying to get happiness. And we will only invest our time, wealth, energy, and everything to find happiness from taking that route, going in the Kama Sukha Lukana Yoga. But we will only get more and more stress, more and more tiredness, more and more no energy to do anything, more and more sleepiness, more and more restlessness. More and more we will end up getting angry, end up getting jealous, end up getting having anxiety and worries, end up not even being able to sleep. We will end up not being able to live without seeing a counselor, without having antidepressant, without having sleeping tablets. That's what will happen to us if we just follow the norm. And this is happening right in front of your eyes. So this is why now it's easy for you to understand this and see this, because you can see it now, what Mehenin Wahanse says, what Mehenin Wahanse only is reporting to you what Buddha had said. This is not anything to do with Mehenin Wahanse. Mehenin Wahanse only a reporter who reports what Buddha has said. Why she is doing it? Because she has had confidence in the Buddha's teachings, and she had tried it and it had worked for her. And with that confidence, she is teaching. And she is confident to report it, and she thinks it's worthy. That's why I can be a reporter, and I'm reporting it from my experience. So I know it works. I know if you go with the norm and taking that blind message and you go blindly in that direction, I have seen the results. So now I'm confident about what Buddha had taught and how it works and how true it is. So I'm just reporting to you. So, but what I'm teaching is not something mine. It is to do with the Buddha. It's the Buddha's teaching. So what you have to practice is the Buddha's teaching, not what Menin Mahansa says. So we need to go to the suttas. I'm only a reporter here. So now it is time that we pay attention to, close attention to Buddha's teachings. Now we know we were always learning to live with keeping the 5 precepts. We kept our 5 precepts to the level best. I think when we started the program some time ago, we said we'll try, blah, blah, blah. And we have come to a point now where we know it's not about trying, it's about keeping it and living with it. There's no trying. And it has to come with unconditional loving kindness for others and for you. For the others' welfare and well-being, you're so concerned about others' welfare and well-being, and you're so concerned that you don't want to give them any stress, any suffering. You don't want to hurt them, even with a word, even with any little action. So now you are controlling your behavior, your speech and your action. You are controlling. Why? You know that no one likes to suffer. How do you know it? You know you don't like to suffer. Because I don't like to suffer, I know that no one on this planet or in this existence like to suffer. So therefore, I should not inflict suffering on others. So if I don't like something because it hurts me, then I should not give that to the others. I should not serve that to the others. So with that understanding, thinking of others and having that concern for others' welfare and well-being, for the safety, and for, you want to see them being happy, we adjust ourselves. We manage our behavior. So managing our behavior for the betterment, to let others live peacefully and happily, that is observing the 5 precepts. So when you do that, when you do it with that good heart, with that heart full of metta, who benefits first is actually you. You're not doing this selfishly, looking forward for a reward to go to heaven, or because you're afraid to go to hell. No, you're not doing it with that intention. Your whole intention is a very pure, genuine intention that you think of others, and this is coming from a selfless place. You are thinking of others and you're adjusting your behavior because you don't want to give any suffering to the other. You don't want to inflict any stress, any hurt, any pain to others. So now, no matter what desire you get, no matter how much you hate something, how much jealous you are, and how much the emotion is wanting you to this, that, and the other, you don't do it. You give more chance now to your brain. You're giving the mind to control your speech and the action. And we are using the mind as the driver, and we give good instructions. We feed the mind with good thoughts, with good teachings. So it makes good decisions. And with that pure decisions, with that good decisions, we direct our speech and action. So no one have to suffer because of our behavior. So this is thinking of not just your welfare and well-being, everyone's welfare and well-being. So this is to have that good things for the whole society. So everyone can live peacefully and happily. Now, if I ask you, if there is 2 places, now everyone wants to leave Sri Lanka. Now, if I tell you, okay, this country, the people in that country observes 5 precepts. People in that country don't observe. They are all Dusila. Komala Dusila. They don't observe the 5 precepts. They're just emotional beings. And in that country, everyone is Silvanta. They all observe the 5 precepts. and they all think about others, and they live with loving kind, based with, the whole way of living is based on the loving kindness and the selfless way of living. That's what they practice. Which country you would like to choose to go and live? Of course, all of you will say, oh, where the people live with precepts. Why you like it? If people are observing the precepts, they are good people. So they will not hurt you, harm you, damage you. Among those people, you can even leave your house door open. You don't have to lock. When you go out or when you at night, no one will harm you, whether you trouble. You can have that much of peace of mind. So you like to be with it. Then, shouldn't we do that? If we like others to be like that, and when everyone else is observing the Sil, that's how we feel. We like it. And we want to be among them. Then the first thing, what should you do? You should be one of them. We have to create that atmosphere. So others, the people who are around us, can feel that. So that's our effort of keeping the 5 precepts. Knowingly the benefits, we been keeping the 5 precepts. Now you want to go one level higher than that. We discussed about these 8 precepts last week. And we've been discussing many points about this, trying to find happiness by pleasing the senses. And now I think you all have come to some kind of understanding that it's not working. It's going after the pleasant feelings and try to derive happiness from that is not working. It is futile. Now you have come to a certain understanding. So now you are requesting many nuances. So it's so good to keep the 8 precepts every day, not just on a full moon day. I think that was the best thing that I have heard from one of my devotees recently. That is the best, one of the best things that we can hear. And as a teacher, I'm so happy to hear that. So now you all understand. So you all requesting, oh, this is such a good thing to observe. It's such a good thing to restrain our senses. So now 8 precept is about going one level higher. Not just only think about the social welfare and well-being and welfare of socially, but now this is you adding few steps to strictly discipline you. We know that without discipline, you can't achieve any good thing. It's with discipline, we can achieve great peace of mind and happiness, good quality happiness. So this is to do with we disciplining our senses. Now we know that pleasing our senses is only making us tired. It only increases our stress. Now we have spoken about some time ago. Let's look at whether there is any new people. So I may have to go one by one. Otherwise, I can just go. If there is new people, I might have to go one by one. Looks like a lot of the names I know. Anyway, I'll just go through quickly. It's like this. Now our senses, as you know, don't have a brain. The eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, they don't have a brain. But when they get stimulated, and when that message goes to the brain, it does some chemical things, electrical things, and then you'll start to experience. So when you experience it, in that experience, you can experience it as either pleasant or unpleasant, or as a neutral feeling. So when this feeling is taking place, if we really don't use the brain, if we don't really use proper thinking while you are experiencing it, the experience itself will take us in a direction where how the gene is programmed is wanting more and more pleasant and not wanting unpleasant. So we will only go in that developing the attachments, the greed and the hatred. And we will only be creating more and more emotions, and we will be only living with emotions, with a lot of chemicals and with developing a lot of stress, physically and mentally. That's because this the senses can't think. And it's like this. Now, you know, your tongue will, but because here there is a lot of educated people, so I can't use this. There's doctors, professors, so I can see. But normally when I teach, I say, well, your eye can't think, so don't do things blindly. Your tongue can't think, you know, it doesn't have a brain. So if the tongue is asking for these wrong things and you just give it because, you know, it doesn't have a brain. But now you know it's not really, it is asking, it is really the chitta that is asking. It is actually the moods or the temperament, or it is to, or again to do with the brain. So I can't easily say that but when I teach it to these normal people, so I have to be careful here now to go to the base and show you it is actually our hormones. When these certain hormones get stimulated, it is a limbic system that will engage the emotions, and these emotions, these chemicals that bring this emotion, they can't think. It doesn't have any thinking power into it. So the chitta, or this mood, the temperament, these emotions can't think. So if we just allow the emotions to take control and you just let it be and you satisfy the emotion, we get into trouble. So that's why now we have to use the brain to create the proper thinking and let the thinking take charge. So the thinking can control the emotion. This is what Buddha is pointing out. The Mano Pubbhanga Madhamma Gathava, Buddha is pointing out, by using your thinking power, you can control your all the experiences. Because what proceeds is the thinking. It's according to the thinking, according to that leadership, that command, the rest will take place. So if you can control your thinking, you can control your emotions. The emotions will be under control. So you can, if you control your thinking in the proper way, the proper thinking is called the yoniso manasikara. If you do the yoniso manasikara, your chitta, your mood will be in a very calm state. So when the chitta is in a very calm state, you can be happy. So when we talk about the neuroscience, there is two pathways of we experiencing happiness. One is when the messages go via this sympathetic pathway, when it's activating fight or flight reaction, and when the adrenaline comes, we also get addicted to this adrenaline, and what it also brings a very sharp kind of a, you know, stimulation. And sometimes we start to like it. Sometimes when these emotions come, we get pleasure. And we also get addicted to that pleasure. But these type of pleasures that we experience when the sympathetic pathway is activated bring stress. Because that's a stress cycle. That is a stress pathway. They bring stress hormone. And when we get addicted to feel happy and, you know, get the pleasure by activating this stress cycle, we get fleeting moments of quick pleasures. Yes, there are certain hormones come and give us a quick pleasure, but it has a lot of stress following that. So it's not worth. So this is why the Buddha pointed out this learning to be happy or getting addicted to be happy by using this kind of a pathway is not worth, because you get little happiness but more stress, because this system creates stress. As it is from inside, it creates stress. So when we try to please our senses selfishly, I want this, I want that, I don't want this, I don't want that, and you go with this I, it is this sense of self that really activates a sympathetic pathway, because the sympathetic pathway is associated with self-perseverance. So the minute the self appears in there, you are asking for trouble, you are asking for suffering, you are asking for stress. But in the middle of that, you will get quick kind of, peaks of pleasures coming. But that is one pathway that we get find happiness, but it's not worth, because it's associated with getting lot of stress when you activate that pathway. But unfortunately today, the people, I guess they only know that pathway. People only know how to be happy in this selfish way, selfishly pleasing your senses and going after these pleasant feelings and activating this stress cycle and getting just moments of happiness, and that's all they know in their life. So they are living life like that. But we have another pathway called the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic also stimulates certain glands and brings certain hormones, and those hormones, what they bring us is not just sharp kind of happinesses like this sympathetic pathway activates, but these hormones gives us relaxation. It activates the relaxation part in our body. Passam bhayam kaya sankaram. Passam bhayam kaya sankaram means relaxing the body. So this relaxing the body is something that Buddha had been advised, to relax the body. So when we activate this parasympathetic pathway, to activate that, you can't do it selfishly. You can't do it having the sense of self. So your thoughts have to have either less sense of self or selflessness or the no self. I mean, you have to try to go beyond this self-centered nature. Either you consciously reduce it, or you instead of practice like, instead of I want this, I want that, I me myself, you start to think, at least may all beings get what I want, may all beings be safe, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy. So at least you substitute it to not just thinking about yourself, but as a whole. That will only work temporarily, because you're only substituting. The minute you don't go into that mode, again, you will be back how the gene will run the system with the sympathetic. But what Buddha pointed out is we can have it as a start, cutting off this self-centered thinking, and you can incorporate everyone in your thinking as may all beings, sabbe sattha, bhavantu sukhitatta, and you do that. So the parasympathetic will start to get activated. So it is connected to different glands. It is connected to the pineal gland, and then they will secrete hormones to relax. So when we, because there is no need to preserve the self. It's nothing to do with self-perseverance. So it's nothing to do with activating stress. So all what it will do is relax. So with this relaxation, your body will start to feel so comfortable. With this comfort, you will start to feel so like united, like satisfied, and you get a kind of a happiness that is not like that pleasure that you get, but it's a very stable, very refined, very peaceful, very satisfied kind of a happy feeling. It comes from internal. You don't need to watch the TV and stimulate the eye. You don't need to listen to the music and stimulate it and get that happiness, or you don't need to put sweets or good food into the tongue and stimulate it and get that kick. No, it is not that type. This comes from you allowing the system to calm down. You're not stimulating things. You're not even practicing any way of thinking this selfishly. Now you're practicing the selfless part, reducing and working on getting rid of this self. So first we do a trick with no understanding, even we go with Sabbe Satta Bhavantu. But later we will come to develop our understanding, to know even who is self. And when you figure it out, you will find that what is the experience is it about anatta. So no self, but it has to come from understanding. You just can't say, there is no self. When your whole system is still wired with the normal way of running and having the sense of I, you can't say there is no I. But with understanding, when you really do this proper investigation, we call the wisdom. With wisdom, you will understand, so to begin with, there was only the body, but there was no particular person or a particular entity doing anything. So it was in the nature of anatta from the beginning. It was only the experiences that was going with this rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara, vijnana. You will come to an understanding. When that comes, you don't have to do then sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. You will understand but who is the satta, whether satta is there or not, or I was there or not, or everything is understood. Then your body is automatically going to be in the mode of all the time going in the parasympathetic. So there will not be stress at all, because now you have shifted from the normal person's life is normally all the time it is being looked after by the sympathetic, because you are living with the sense of self. Only maybe when you are sleeping that you get relaxed. But with this path, when you're going in this path, with more and more developing your understanding, you're consciously strengthening your parasympathetic. And when you practice this, what happens? Your parasympathetic gets more and more activated, and more hormones will come to relax you. And this relaxation itself will activate certain path, and it will bring hormones that gives you calm happiness. And that happiness that comes with the bodily comfort and with that satisfied feeling is something extraordinary. Normally, not normal people can't experience that because they are too bogged down in that other pathway. But when people, work towards giving up stimulating your senses and giving up the selfishness, and when you activate this parasympathetic by purifying yourself from this sense of self, the selfishness, and understanding the stupidity of pleasing your senses all the time, and you giving it up, and you only use the senses wisely now. So you're giving it more and more rest and more less work. And so with more and more rest and relaxation, and then you purify your mind from the sense of self, getting rid of it, and activating the parasympathetic, you will get this relaxation. And with the relaxation, a certain type of happiness will come. And with that comfort That happiness, it's called an ecstasy, because you cannot experience it in the normal way of you pleasing your senses. So this is called dhyana. When you're walking in this path, activating the parasympathetic, the experiences that you experience in that path, when you're not emotional, when all the emotions being stilled, no more hormones in the brain or in the body that creates these kama, chanda, vyapada, tina, middha, uddhacha, kucha, vichikicha. So all the 5 hindrances, the emotions are gone. What is left is that, just the baseline. And in that baseline, now you're working with activating the parasympathetic. And when you are activating the parasympathetic in the proper way, itself will bring happiness, because you're so comfortable with that comfort, happiness comes. Passadda kayo sukhang vedayati, sukhino chittang samadhiyati. And this samadhi comes, so samadhi is a type of a bliss. Your physical body is relaxed to the max. And as a result of the relaxation, your body is so comfortable to the level you don't feel any tension. You don't even feel the body. So you are like floating. You are like, so with that comfort, you feel very happy. So that samadhi is the bliss. So for a normal person, for a human being, in a lifetime, the best kind of a happiness they can experience is this samadhi, because whether you have the 100% understanding about self or not, you still can come to the samadhi with purifying your mind. This is the best quality happiness a normal person can experience. But this is reversible. But if someone develops wisdom, if someone walks on the Noble Eightfold Path, and they get to understand who is the self, and you come to that conclusion, there's only Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vinyana, to find no self and the nature of Anatta, then with wisdom, when you understand this, no longer there is a sense of self, this is fixed now. So this samadhi will remain with you for the rest of the life until you die. And we call then the Nibbanic bliss, because it's not reversible and it will not go down from the first dhyana. It will remain in the first jhana. If you want, you can go to second, third, fourth jhana, or even beyond that, but you will not fall beyond the first jhana. That is the base level that you live in your day-to-day life. And now that you have understood this, you don't have any emotions when you're facing the world. So your mind will not shake in the midst of any vicissitudes of life. It has come to that unshakable point. Uttassa loka dhammehi chittang yassana kampati asokang virajang kema. Etam mangala muttima. So that is the state of the mind of an arahant. So what the arahant experience is the bliss of Nibbana. Bliss of Nibbana is also, it is what you experience is the dhyana, and dhyana is not a reversible one. And your mind has been freed from everything. So it's unshakable. So that's the best quality happiness one can experience. One. After you being born as a human being, the human brain has this capacity. It has the potential to reach this happiness, to experience the dhyanas, and it has that potential, the hardware ready, if you know how to use it, to experience the nibbana, the bliss of the nibbana. So this is the other pathway. The normal people use that short, temporary happinesses that is accompanied with lot of stress. But the wise people, when they learn to give it up, they find a treasure. They find a real good quality, refined happiness that they can live forever until they die. But you need to follow a certain type of a lifestyle, the Noble Eightfold Path. So in order to do that, we need to discipline us. So in order to reach that goal, we need to follow these 8 precepts with understanding. So 8 precepts is a base that helps us to get here. So after that 5, the extra ones are mostly about you will not please your senses unnecessarily. You will only use your senses when it's needed to get to your goal. Because now you know what is the best thing you can achieve in this life, where you should be going, what you should be experiencing, what you should be doing when you're on earth here for a short period of time. So you have a goal now. Now you are not a slave to your 5 senses. You don't do what it says. You do what you want to get to your destination, and you don't let these senses distract you or take it to reverse. That's what it will do. If you just allow it to run, it will take you only to the stress path. Naturally, that's what happens. So we need to understand. With that understanding, if we can follow the 8 precepts properly, so it doesn't become a sacrifice. It doesn't become a headache. It doesn't become like, I'm losing something in life. No, you don't lose. You do it happily, seeing how much you achieve, how much you will get by giving up this rubbish, what you will get, and how precious that is. If you can't put a price to what you get when you follow this path. So the 8 precept is about you disciplining yourself, training and disciplining to give up this going after the 5, going after the pleasing the senses, so the pleasures. That's why it looks like it's hard to do. But with someone who has the understanding, it's not hard to do. They won't do it because they understand that's the best thing to do. Not to do it stupid. That's why I'm so glad that one of you came to that point to think that we should be doing this every day. True, not to do it stupid. And why we don't do it? Because we don't have this understanding. We don't know anything about being able to achieve this bliss of Nibbana in this very life, even if possible here and now, if you come to this understanding. That's what it is. Anyway, so the extra things that is there, apart from the 5 precepts, is one is that may be a bit difficult for you all to do if you're living a family life. Let me come to it after, after I explain the others. What's the time now, Pute?
Bhikshuni Mahansa, it is 9:20 in Sri Lanka.
Okay, we have time. Okay. Now let me explain this in the reverse order. Uchchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkapadan Samadhyami means that even when you sit, when you sleep, you will not look for luxury. You will not do things to please your skin, the muscles, the body. You will not try to do things to please, but you will sit with understanding. You will sleep with understanding. What does that mean? You're not doing it to please your body, but you're doing it to take rest. Why do we sit? To take rest. Why do we sleep? To have rest. So with that understanding, whatever you have, whether it's the floor, best place to sleep is the floor because it's good for your back. It's hard. And, you know, at the ancient time, there was this chemistry there. Our earth and we are connected. So when we sleep on the ground, we are connected to the ground and the energy works. And we are always energetic. It's like when you touch the ground or you sit on the ground or you sleep on the ground, you are like plugged to the charger. You are plugged to the source. So you get energy. And that's why, you know, those days they knew that. That's why they didn't even use high chairs or high beds or anything, but they try to keep as close as much as possible to the earth. It's not a poor people's practice. Buddha wasn't a poor person. Buddha was the richest, but Buddha chose to sit on the ground. Buddha chose to sit on the floor and to sleep on the floor. But when he's at a monastery or somewhere, if people provided Buddha something, he may have slept in it without fussing. And, you know, so these people, they offered something with a lot of respect. So let them get that merit. So Buddha may have used it, but Buddha didn't look for things. So what I wanted to say is we have this idea that sitting on the floor or sitting on a banquet, sitting or sleeping on a mat is what the poor people do. Not so. That's what the wise people do. Why they do it? With understanding. It's much better to be with the earth, connected to the earth. Today they have found we have so much of problems, diseases, because we are not walking on the earth bare feet. We are always, if not few feet, few inches up above the earth. We are not walking on the earth. That is our problem, one of the problems. We are not getting earthed. We are not getting connected. So it's always good to be connected to the earth. So Buddha is saying, be natural as much as possible. Be with the nature. So just use whatever you have with understanding to rest, to sleep, to sit, to sleep, but much closer to the earth is much better. This is why when we meditate, if you're in the forest, you know, you don't take a chair with you and go. Even though today people carry a chair even with them. They're so used to luxury and their bodies are so tensed, they cannot sit cross-legged, they cannot bend their knees. They are not looking forward to fix their problem by doing some yoga and purifying the mind and bringing the body to a comfortable state and to a flexible state. Always what we do is we even carry a chair with us now. When we go even to meditate, even to the retreats. This is we are. But Buddha never carried a chair into the forest. The monks or nuns, they don't carry a chair into the forest. They just go there and sit on the ground. And as you know, there is one sutta where it says one of these princes, he was passing by and he saw Buddha sitting under a tree, under bare, you know, just the land. Not even few grass to cushion the uneven ground. Because this ground was so uneven because during the rainy season, the carts, the bullock carts have gone and the hoof of the cows have created that mud in different shapes. You can imagine how uneven it must have been. But under a tree, Buddha was just sitting in that type of uneven floor without even having grass. Normally, you know, there was a practice at that time where people will get grass from close by, nearby place, get some bunch of grass and cushion your place. That was the cushion, just the grass. And you know that someone was selling kusatana, and they gave kusatana atamitak to Lord Buddha when he was getting ready to get enlightened. And someone offered some grass, so Buddha used it. So this was like the cushion. So you know that was a practice, that was a normal practice at that time. But in this instance, when this conversation was taking place, Buddha was not even having any grass under, you know, his back. So this person came and asked, and Buddha was so relaxed. He was just relaxing. And this person came and said, "Can you relax here like this?" And Buddha said, "There is no one in this three worlds that you can find at this moment who is so relaxed and comfortable and happy like me." So he asked, "How can you be in this muddy, this uneven floor? It's so rough, and you're just sitting there and so comfortably. How come?" The Buddha said, "Well," he asked him, "even though if someone sleeps in the best luxurious bed, and surrounding that bed on top of it are uduviyantene, there is the best cloth and villuda, මොනවද මට මතක නැහැ උඩින් දාන්නේ, they have put that luxurious thing, viyana, to cover the bed, so no dust will come down upon you. And the villuda pavada, there was this best carpet, the soft best carpet to put your feet on. And you had the most luxurious pillows, say the duck down pillow or whatever the pillow you have, the best ones. And you have all the luxuries, and people attending, fanning and doing anything and everything, and you are resting in that bed. But if that, so to someone to have that type of a luxury, you have to be a prince or a king. And Buddha is saying, so that prince, if they hear that the king in the other country is planning to come and take over this country, how is the level of your happiness? Oh no, yes, we will get angry, we will get afraid, we will have anxiety and worries. In that luxury, they won't even be able to sleep. So just this luxury can't give you happiness. That's what the Buddha was pointing out. And if your mind is burning with lust, you see, you are now thinking of someone else's woman and planning as how to come the man and get this woman. Will you have peace in your heart? No, your heart is on fire. So like that, when your mind is not pure and you always have this greed, hatred and delusion, and you live with this delusion, you can have the most luxurious thing to sit, to sleep, but you will not get the real comfort and the real happiness. That's what Buddha was pointing. And Buddha said, because my mind is so pure and my understanding is so perfect, I don't need any of that outwardly things, the worldly things, to give me comfort and happiness. So I'm not bound on that. I'm not getting the happiness from pleasing the pleasant feelings, going after the pleasant feelings. I don't need all that. I'm quite content and happy as it is with whatever. I only sit to rest, and wherever I sit, I can rest to the 100% max. Because it's a mental thing. The resting, relaxing, the peace, the happiness, it's mental bound. It's coming from the mind. It's not there in the pillow or in the cushion or in the rug, even though today people spend thousands and thousands for the pillow. Here you can buy a pillow for 1,000 something, the best one. You can find for few thousands. You can find the mattresses, few $1,000s. You can find carpets, you can find this, that, and a few $1,000s. So in Sri Lanka, where the rupees probably few lakhs, just to sit and to sleep. For the couches, they spend a lot of money. Now they have the couches with the massage. Their tension is so much. Now you can't sit on a normal cushion. You have to have a massager fixed into the cushion. So while you are sitting, you get a massage, so your muscles get relaxed, so you are happy. This is all temporary. You get out from the massaging chair, you're stepping out from the door, you are angry. And you have already tensed your muscles back to square one. And you think, now you have the massager on your chair in the vehicle, in driver's seat. But it's only until it does that. After that, you are again in your miserable world, the unhappy world. So what Buddha said here, stop wasting your time and energy and money and everything looking for happiness from outwardly things. Break the habit that you're looking for happiness from outwardly things. This is the message here. So Uchasayana Mahasayana means those days all these luxurious things were made big, high and big. It was the king or these the situvarum, the merchants, they had the biggest and the highest and the luxurious seats and the beds and things like that. So what it means is to not to sit on the high chairs or to sit on the big chairs or not to sit or sleep in high or the big beds. Doesn't mean it's the height and the length and the breadth and the size. What it means is you will give up looking for luxury, using the outwardly things. You will give up looking for comfort or luxury using these outwardly things because it doesn't bring you the real thing. You know, today in these Western countries, I don't know whether you can find anyone at the normal level of living. They don't have a good quality mattress. They don't have a good quality pillow. They all have good quality pillow, the mattress, the couch and everything. But in the society, 1 in 3 is on antidepressants and few are on sleeping tablets. And so what it means is all that luxury they wanted to get from using those luxurious chairs and the beds and all that few $1,000 pillow, the few $1,000 mattress, few $1,000 bed sheets and things have not given them the sleep that they wanted to have. As a child, they had a sleep, but now they are so wealthy, so have money, power, everything, but they can't even sleep in that, you know, with all that. Why? Because their mind is disturbed. Their mind is full of rubbish. Their mind is full of panchadhivaran. It's just one emotional board. So they can't sleep now without a sleeping tablet. And this is why I said not like before. Now you can see how true this is because you only have to open your eyes. It's happening everywhere and you can see it. It's not in darkness. It's right in front of your eyes. So the point of the Buddha was to not waste your time and money and energy and everything looking for comfort from outside, but use all that to bring the comfort from inside. Because how you get the comfort is by you relaxing your body. Selfish people can't relax because your body is always going on the stress cycle. We need to practice selflessness with understanding, or even without the understanding. If you practice, you still can get relaxed by purity or by developing the wisdom. Both ways you can get comfort, the relaxation. But if you don't do it with understanding, then that comfort that comes when you're purifying your mind is reversible. Do not stay for too long. It is called the samatha way. Only while you're practicing, you will have the relaxation, but that's all. But if you develop your understanding and you practice this with understanding and you come to the understanding, that path is called the vidarshana path. If you do that, that is unreversible. So we need to understand this. Taking 8 precepts means it is quite possible to practice in day-to-day life. Quite possible. Now some of you are retired, some of you are working from home. And if you understand this, it doesn't disturb your day-to-day life at all. So if you go somewhere in the office or somewhere, they only have this type of, just sit on it. No problem. It's not telling you to not to sit on this or that or the other. So use it. Don't make it a hush-fuss that, oh, I'm on 8 precepts, so I shouldn't be sitting on this higher chair. I shouldn't be sleeping on this bed. No, 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 no. Use the brain. Understand. Don't look for luxury. Don't look for comfort from these outwardly things. But when you go and work and do things and they only have this type of a chair, just sit on it. Don't get attached to it. Don't try to find comfort from that. But know the real nature. Why you are sitting is to rest. So this is good enough. Whether it's a bangkur or a good chair that have been provided for you for good karma that has come on your way, just use it and leave it. That's all. Don't let it sink into your mind. Don't let it become a want in your mind. Don't think that it gave you such comfort, but just understand, I only need to sit. Any chair will do that job. It's okay. The best chair is the earth. Best place to sit is on earth. Best place to sleep is on earth. Okay. Anyway, that's what the wise people do. So this precept about Uchasayana Mahasayana is about you will not try to get happiness from using these luxurious things, but you will sit, sleep with understanding that you're doing it to rest and to relax. And you will accept whatever that's around you and be simple as much as you can. And we don't waste our time on these worldly things, material things, but we try to focus our everything we have on walking on this path, so you can save your energy, save your time, save your money and everything to support this path. So you're not distracted, you're not wasting, so you can comfortably get to your destination. So if you want to continue the 8 precepts even tomorrow, that's fine. So we do it today. I know you are ready for it, so we do it today. But if you want to continue it with your life, like you asked, you want to make it a lifelong practice, please do it. Don't throw away the chairs you have in the house and upset everyone. Don't throw away your bed. Let things be. Don't be attached to them, but use them with understanding. But if you want, while all the things are there, you can start to sit on the ground. You can start to sleep on the ground, but don't make others upset. You do it, your practice, you should do it the way you want. And that's it. So if you want to take this to your day-to-day life, this is how you can do it. Okay. Now the other one. Nacha Gita Vadita Visuka Dasana Mala. Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhuksa Nachana. Veramani Sikkhapada. So that one, what we say is we will not do things to please our eyes, ears, nose, the body, like that. Even the tongue, I mean the whole lot. But there it talks about the food, we talk from another one. But here it's talking about all the other senses. that we will stop wasting our time and money and energy and things to stimulate these senses and to derive happiness from that. Stimulate the senses and get get this pleasant feeling, and use that pleasant feeling, that spark, to get pleasure, to find happiness. We will not do that silly thing, stupid thing. Nacha Gita Vadita. So we are not going to engage in this singing and dancing and playing and Nacha Gita Vadita. Visuka Dasana Mala. Not even watching TV, teledrama, using the eyes to just watch. We don't please the eyes in that way. And we will not even try to find happiness by even joking. Usulu visulu karanoa kiyanne. Sometimes without knowing, we try to find happiness by doing all these dirty jokes and the practical jokes, we say, that where we hurt someone and we try to get this wicked kind of a pleasure, wicked happiness. You put someone in trouble, or you put someone, you give a hard time to them, and when they're in suffering and pain and struggling, we laugh. So that is getting, you watching others in pain and you finding happiness. That is the worst, shad and fraud away, the wickedness, wicked happiness. You see, we can find happiness in different ways. Even practicing and enjoying the wicked things, we can find happiness. But remember, all of that accompanies stress. That type of happinesses accompanies lot of stress. Stress is attached. So that's why Buddha says, give it up. Don't do these silly things and try to find happiness. You don't get more happiness, you get more stress and unhappiness. So Buddha says to give it up. Remember, last time we discussed about the dog that is eating the bone, and it's so happy, it thinks it has got the best food in the world. When the dog gets a bone, there is nothing in the bone, no nutrition, no taste, nothing. It is so hard, but it keep on biting and biting and biting, and it tastes something, but it don't know that it is the taste of his own blood that is coming from the mouth, the gums, because the bone hurt the gums. When it's turning it this way, that way, biting this way, that way, the bone is really scratching and hurting the gum, and the gum is bleeding. And what is tasting is not the bone, but his own blood. And it's so happy, without knowing that he is getting closer to the death, because with all these scratches and gum bleeding, so it gets all these gum diseases, and the gum is the nerves in the gum is directly connected to your brain. So when you have all this bad bacteria, virus growing in your gum, it really affects your health. And you slowly die without knowing. You get so many diseases and you die. You thought you enjoyed, the dog thought dog enjoyed, and he got so much out of the bone. But when someone wise looks at this, sees how you poor dog. It's all because I had no brain. So it's like that. Buddha says, when you try to derive happiness from engage in this Kama Sukha Likhana Yoga, and you try to watch the TV and try to be happy, I'll tell you even what happens. You try to watch the TV and you come from work, you're so tired, so you think the best way to relax is to put your feet up and then keep on watching, have your mouth open and watch the TV. So you switch it on and you watch it, and while it's playing whatever, your neurons also firing and giving you the ideas. So you keep on thinking, and you're thinking about what you're seeing, your interpretations about what you're seeing will also stimulate certain glands and also will bring hormones. So you will not just only give the stress of the neurons to fire and just the thinking stress. When the hormones come, it will take you for a ride. You don't even know the people, you haven't even been to that country before, you don't know these people, but you get angry. By watching it, you're getting so angry. By watching it, you get so much of anxiety and worries. By watching it, you're burning with lust, burning with desires. You didn't have the need to want this. Now that you saw it in that TV, this ad, that this woman, that man, whatever. Ayo, I want this. I can't wait. I can't rest until I get this. I can't rest until I go to that place. That's how even you say. So you get so restless, so much fire on the heart. Now, who did this to you? Just by watching the TV. And you think you're resting and relaxing. What rest and what relaxation? Your whole body is, just on fire. All the organs, the brain, each and every cell. You don't have to have problems. Now, today, there are people, sometimes I think, why did they get cancer? Because they had access to good food, they even have good way of life, they were exercising, they were drinking water, they were doing anything and everything that I can think of, even the lifestyle wise, the food wise, and they have a lot of money, lot of wealth, lot of fame, education, everything, but they got the cancer. And they are doing the right things by the books. And I'm thinking, how did they get this? So I asked them, how much do you watch the TV? How much do you play the games? How much do you engage in social media? You get the answer. Why? Even though if everything is going well with you, you're just getting in from the morning, because people now, it's not like at our time, we only watch a TV. The TV only started at 6 p.m. There was no TV 24 hours. Only at 6 p.m. the TV will start, and you watch whatever you want to watch, and you switch it off, and by 12 o'clock midnight, I think it was 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, TV is finished again. Only the next day 6 o'clock to I think 10 or 12 o'clock it starts, and that's it, it's gone. But today people wake up with the TV, they go to sleep with the TV, they have their phone. If it's not the TV, they have their phone next to them. They wake up with the phone, they go to sleep with the phone. You're always watching something, doing. So you don't have rest. Your brain don't have a rest. Your body don't have a rest. So what you do is all the time firing your neurons, and with the thoughts that you create, you're creating emotions. So all the time you're on fire. Either you're angry, even with someone, even you don't know that they haven't even done anything to you, but you are angry. You don't know them, they haven't done anything directly, but you have so much of anxiety and worries. You have so much of sadness, so much of lust, this desires. So you're all the time cooking up something here. You're all the time, your heart is on fire. So this is a very good recipe to get cancer. You need, for us to be healthy, we need to have pure blood. You need to have a lot of oxygen, and the carbon dioxide needs to go out. And when we become emotional all the time, it disrupts this. What happens when we are emotional? All these hormones come and bind to things in the blood, and it goes everywhere, and it hinders delivering the oxygen, taking out the carbon dioxide, delivering the nutrition, getting all the bad products, the waste. So only those chemicals are roaming here. And it changes the pH of the blood. Then it doesn't deliver things it should be delivering to the cells. It can't take out the rubbish from the cells. So now the homeostasis is changed, the pH is changed, and the cells are not getting oxygen and nutrition. All the waste is staying there. So what happens is cancer. So you need to be very, 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 very careful. Some people call this the idiot box. You have to be very, very careful when you use these things, because it will not just, give you stress, but stress will kill you slowly, slowly too. Stress is a silent killer, but it can give you more painful death with cancer. It's quite capable, even though it's only a box with a screen. But it's quite capable to kill us in a very painful way. Be very careful. So if you use your eyes in the wrong way, now you thought of sitting and watching the TV can relax you, but see what's really happening. When you investigate, you will find you are at a total loss. You haven't gained anything. So if you want to watch something, make sure that you only watch something that is really worth to watch. You need to assess the risk. This is what it will do to me. But if I really have to watch something, okay, knowing that risk, I will watch it, because it gives me more benefit from that, whatever it is, whether it's a Dhamma talk, or whether it's, not just you want to know what the people in the house do, the neighbor do, you want to know what's happening all around the world, the gossip. So whatever you want to watch, you make sure, know that risk, and, you balance it and see. So Buddha says, only use your senses wisely to the worthy things. So I think if you really want to watch a TV, watch the Dhamma talk. That's the only thing worth for you to use the TV for. Because still your neurons will fire. But if you're addicted to watch something, watch it, but at least more than the damage that it does to the brain. But when you're listening to the Dhamma, if you understand, it will fool you. It will not engage the emotions. It will not arouse the emotions. It will fool you. So it's okay. But still, it's okay. It's good not to watch it, but just listen. So you only have the stress from listening. Even when you are listening, it will create stress. And today the research have been done. You expose people to hard rock, that music that goes boom, 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 whatever that real heavy metal. Their heartbeat raises, their pressure raises. The stress is so high. So I don't know how people can relax. Those days they use this music to relax. And still there are certain types of music where they know how to use the words, how to use the tunes, the vibrations, the frequencies to match certain frequencies in the brain and activate this pineal gland, and you feel so relaxed. Some people know how to use the sound vibrations to get a good relaxation, but I don't think people know it anymore. But anyway, it was there in India and in Sri Lanka. So, but we don't know it now. The way we are using it now, it only increases your stress. So it's not worth. If something is worth for you to listen, it has to have much benefit than the damage it does to you. So the best thing to listen is the Dhamma. There is a Sinhala Kaviya. මතක ඇති දකින්න තියෙන දේන් දකින්න හොඳම දේ බුදුරුවයි අහන්න තියෙන දේ හොඳම දේ දහමයි කියලා ඔහොම කවියක් තියෙනවා මතක නැහැ. කාට හරි මතක නම් ඒක කියන්න. I can't remember how to rhyme, but I know the essence. What it said is the best thing to see, best thing for your eyes to see, the worthy thing for your eyes to see is only the buduruwa. The only worthy thing for your ears to hear is the Dhamma, like that. Which is so true, because everything else adds stress. But this, still your brain will have to work. There will be some work, but at least it will work to reduce stress. It will give you more and more peace and happiness. So it's okay, because you have to spend something to get something. You just can't get enlightened by not using your senses. That's why we have to use it wisely. Sota. ධර්මය අහන්න බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ කියන සෝත. You have to use the sota. So you hear it and then you penetrate into it. So when you understand it, that understanding will give you much benefit than the damage that it did to your brain when it's firing, to understand the meaning and all that. Anyway, so we have to use our eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body really wisely. Now, Nacha, Gita, Vadita, Visuka, Dattana, Mala, Gandha, Vilepana, Dharana, Mandana. So even with the nose, the same thing, we use the perfumes and this, that, and other to stimulate the nose there, and we like to experience only the pleasant, good perfumes. I think that it's not worth to give it up. Stimulation is not good. Stimulation really does damage. So Buddha says, give it up. And the makeup and things. So that's another thing we have talked about last time, remember? So we do makeup and all this and that and the other to attract people. We want to show I am pretty. Look at me, I'm most pretty. So the thing is, you can bring this kind of the artificial way of beauty, but when you go and wash your face on the sink, that is gone. You have spent, if you calculate how much you have spent on your makeup for a year, nearly 50,000 for the hair tinting, for the mascara, for the eyelashes, for the whatever the powders and the creams and all the paint and the lipstick and the Q-Tex and the nail polishing, the waxing, or if you calculate all together, 50,000 is, it won't be, it will be, can't be less than 50,000. So see how much money you have wasted trying to make you look beautiful, but in that way you really can't, because you can tint your hair, you can paint your hair as much as you can, but that ugliness or that repulsive nature in the hair has not been changed. You will go and spend $100 for hair tinting and you come home, sit nicely, and you are ready to eat now. One hair falls into your plate. Will you eat? No, you don't eat. Because it's yucky. You will throw the whole plate. Now you have gone to the paint shop and you got your nails polished and painted and this and that and that. You come home, you're eating, and somehow accidentally part of your nail gets broken and it's there on the plate. You will not just leave the nail on the side, you will throw the whole plate. You don't feel like eating the whole thing. It's that much yucky. Why? These are all dead parts. We know that nail is a dead part. The hair is a dead part. So by you doing this tinting and this, that, and the other, painting hasn't given it life. It hasn't brought it back to life. No, it has taken away that repulsive nature. පිළිකුල් ගතිය අයින් කරලත් නැහැ. It hasn't taken away the repulsive nature and gave it a a good feeling. No, it isn't. This is why you can't eat when it falls into your plate. So what a waste of money. We can't change its actual nature. Why we waste our money, time, energy for you to do this tinting and putting the makeup and hair polishing and all this and that? You need money. How do you get the money? It doesn't fall from the sky like rain. You have to work hard. You have to work from the morning to night, night to morning. So much energy you have to spend on that. And it's just a waste. It hadn't added any value. It's only to your, that, the chitta gain some kind of a temporary happiness, thinking, oh, now I look pretty, that's all. But while you're wearing that makeup, you're not free from the stress or the suffering that comes from anger. While you're wearing the makeup, you get angry. While you're wearing this tinting and polishing the nail cutex and this, that, and the other, you can get angry and you can be so unhappy. So this polishing and tinting and this, that, and the other, all this makeup hadn't even given you any happiness at all. It hasn't. In it that you get angry, you are unhappy. Only that when you are doing it to your ego, it added up and said, oh, now I'm different to others. So this is something that has no worth, no value. It's just something we do to just to trick ourselves, just to, I don't know the word, but anyway, those days people did this to trick people, to show them that they are healthy. When a woman is ready to go for marriage, the parents want to get rid of the daughter because now it's a burden. They want to close their eyes with peaceful mind. They say, I can't be peaceful and I can't close my eyes peacefully. While she is here, someone has to look after her. I have to find a man. So they work on that. And now if the daughter has a problem with the blood related, or they are not healthy, you look at someone's nails, you can see if they are not healthy. They are not pink. Your blood, if your blood is not really in good shape, if it's not pure and it has too much carbon dioxide, it's more black, more dark. So when someone looks at the nails, if they see their nails are dark, they know this woman is not a healthy one. So what did the people started to do to mask that, to trick others? They put some pink color cutex there. So when this man comes, now they can't judge, and they put lipstick on the lips too. So they can't figure out now whether they have healthy blood or not. So they just look at the outwardly thing and make it up. So they have make it up. Make up means that you make up for your flaws. They have corrected that, and now they can't see the others. They get caught up and they will take that woman, and every spend that he earns is spent on the doctor or to the hospital. Why? අර කියන්නේ කැහි ගෑණියෙක් ගත්තාමයි හොතු ගෑණි ගත්තාමයි කැඩිච්ච කාර් එකක් ගත්තාමයි ඒ මිනිහට නැගිටින්න බෑ. You always will have to fix it anyway. So we did those things to trick people, but nowadays we even don't know why we are doing this. We are even applying black cutex. That's the most funniest thing. You even apply black cutex today. And when you apply this lipstick and cutex and tinting and polishing and all this, that, and the other, when you do makeup, what you get is also again the cancer. Because all these products are made from carcinogenic things, petroleum products, and they are all carcinogen. You go to America, if someone is listening to this from America, they will tell you in all the cosmetic aisle, when you know they have a law now in any product, if something has a carcinogenic chemical in it, they have to disclose it. You go to in the shopping center, you go and have a look. There's the red labels everywhere. Where? In the cosmetic aisle. Where this makeup and all these cosmetic things are everywhere under all these products. They say this contains carcinogenic chemical. This contains carcinogenic chemical everywhere. So what you're really putting on yourself is this carcinogenic chemicals. Don't tell me, no, it's put on the hair and the nail, they are dead, so we don't get it. No, it touches the skin. And you know some famous singer that who passed away, who died after dyeing the hair. And for some time people didn't dye, but after you forget, you start to dye again with this color, that color. Now I see people have half this side is pink, half this side is green. And nails, you apply them, it touches the skin and it penetrates to the skin, and you get that. So we get cancer. So with all this makeup that we do today, no wonder we get cancer. It would be a wonder if we don't get cancer, because you are applying cancer to yourself. So I don't know why people do it. I guess they do it because they don't know this. This is why we need to educate. Those days, people used to put some kunkuma, hari, ara, sudu handum, urachi karala, they will put on the face, some powder. People who didn't have access to the sudu handum, they will put some powder just around this cheekbone here, because it has the most sensitive skin, to protect it from sunlight. ඉස්සරහට මතක ඇතුළේ powder ටික දාපු එක තමයි කෙරුවේ ඉස්සරහට. ඒ කෙරුවේ මේ to protect your face. Even if today if you go to Burma, you can see this, even the air hostess, that is their makeup, that's all. These Burmese girls are very pretty. Their skin is like the lotus petals, that color. And still what they do is they only put little bit of that Suduhadu Murachi Karala, the sandalwood, to protect their skin from the sunlight damage. So this is why we had all these practices, but now it's all gone into the wrong direction. Those days people used to, if they didn't like when they are getting all the white hair, they want to color it, they used henna. Henna was the one that they used to dye their hair, and whatever, when there is a wedding or a special occasion, they wanted to do that. But it's a very natural ingredient from a tree. So they didn't kill themselves. But today, because we don't know the meaning and we are only going for the show, and we don't have the strength inside, we don't have the beauty in our mind, beauty in the heart, so we can't see the beauty in us. So we just want to do things from the outside and show people that I'm this, I'm that, and the other. And it only satisfies your ego. You don't know how much you're wasting, and you don't know what you're asking for when you're doing these things. So this is why Buddha is saying, don't do these silly, stupid things. It doesn't bring you real happiness. It only destroys you. It only gives you a burden. It only becomes a burden to your pocket, or to your parents' pocket, and to your health, and to everything. It only strengthens the sense of self. Look at me. If we needed all that green color in the hair, or if we needed to have black color all the time in our hair, the nature would have done it. The nature had given beautiful colors to the peacock. If peacock needs it, the way it lives, it needs it. That's why peacock has it. But if we needed, the nature would have given us too. But because we don't need, We don't need to attract others from showing our body, but we attract people from using our brain. So because we have a good brain, you don't need all that colors in the body like the peacock has. Peacock don't have a brain, but it needs all that fascinating colors to attract others. But we don't need. We have a very powerful brain, a good heart. So when you have a good heart and a good mind, you can attract the good people. So why you want to attract is, so when there is lot more people around you, it's easy to get all the work done. And, there are people to care for you. Your life becomes comfortable, to live comfortably. But when you do this makeup and who you attract for your beauty is also some people like in that category where they don't know what is the real depth in a person, what is the real beauty in a person, what is the real strength in a person. But you get attracted by these people who don't know much, who is not good, not wise. They just get attracted like the peacock gets attracted by the female peacock, and not appreciated by any others. When the peacock opens its mouth, the people around them will throw stones at them because it's a real harsh voice, very loud. People don't like it. So when they know when the peacocks have come, the farmers will throw stones at them. So they don't attract the good people or wise people or strong ones. They only attract that type of people. I think අපි කියන්නේ අර birds of feathers flock together කියලා ඒ වගේ තමයි. ඒ වර්ගය තමයි ඒ වර්ගයට attract වෙන්නේ. So if you do this, then you try to attract people, only that type of people will come to your life. And when you need proper help and support and all that, you don't even get them because the people who gets attracted to you don't have that. And recently, one mother came to me and told me that she told her son not to associate that friend. I asked why. She said, oh, when he met with an accident, oh, that boy ran away, leaving him alone, and he ran away. So she said, why you want to associate with that type of friends? When you are in trouble and when you are in need, if they are not there to help you, you don't need that. Ask him to not to associate. So it's like that. But if you had been surrounded by good people are the ones who have goodness, loving kindness, the compassion, the strength. So when you are in need or you're in trouble or you're in need, they don't live like that. They will be there and they will even sacrifice their time, energy, money, some even life, and will look after you, will be there for you. You don't need to open your mouth and say, I need this or that or that or whatever. When they see you are in need, they will come and look after you. Your life will be so easy. It's very comfortable. You feel very cared, very loved. So to get attracted, to attract these good people with goodness and wisdom, you don't need the makeup because they don't need that. They will only avoid you. The good and the wise will avoid you if you have all these things because they know you are an empty person. You don't have self-confidence because you don't have a good heart and a good brain. You are an empty vessel. So they will not attract you, get attracted to you. So if you really want to attract the good and the wise, you need to be who you are. Be content with who you are. Be happy with who you are. And when you have you purify your mind, purify your heart. If you don't have confidence, you do that, your skin will start to glow. Your aging will reverse. Why? The pure blood can do that. It will give enough oxygen. It will give a lot of nutrition. And, and also now they say, when you purify your mind, you change the way you think. It goes into that epigenetic level where It will even change your DNA. Now the research had shown very clearly, when you can think in the proper way, the pure way, it can affect even your gene codes or how the gene is coded. And when you learn to do this, they are saying it can even deactivate or it can even down-regulate the stress circle, the stress, the fight or flight reaction from the DNA. This is called epigenetics. So we need to learn to use this machine in the proper way. It's through the mind. If you purify your mind, make it beautiful, put makeup to it, do everything to it, look after your mind, your body will naturally get looked after, because body is the barometer of the mind. How the mind is, the body will show it. So it will not, then we can save a lot of money, the money that we are going to waste on all these unnecessary carcinogenic products. We can save money from not using for them, and also not going into the hospital later for this stupid thing that we do. So learn to be who you are, be natural. If you think the sun rays will burn you, just put something to protect your face. That's all you need. සුදු හඳුන් ටිකක් පුරච්චි කරලා ගන්න. එච්චරයි. මොනවාරි තියෙනවනේ සුදු හඳුන් තියෙන ටිකක් cooling. That's all you need. Anyway, ඉතින් ඕක තමයි ඒකේ කතාව. ඉතින් what Buddha is showing is, don't try to derive happiness by pleasing your eyes, this nose and tongue and this body and this, that, and they don't have a brain. They can't think. They can't see the consequences. All they will is ask, I want this, I want that. But don't go in that way. Don't do things like that. You need to be the master, think and act. So we can avoid a lot of disasters. We can avoid a lot of unnecessary stress. And we can live a meaningful life. So Ata-Sil වල ඒක තමයි makeup කතාව කියන්නේ. So I know a lot of the ladies today, they cannot really do without makeup. They cannot go anywhere without makeup. They will say, some will say, Ane meaning in that club or in that particular place, all the loku අය එනවා. ඉතින් ලොකු අය එනකොට makeup කරන්න නැතුව යන්න බෑ. එම ගියොත් ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ. What they're saying is, all these big shots, they will not care, or we will not get even noted if you don't look like this. And I say, what nonsense. You look at the president's wife today in Sri Lanka, the first lady in Sri Lanka. Have a look whether she's doing all this tinting and putting Q-Tex and all the makeup and high heels and have different handbags. You watch and see. She don't do any of those. She's so confident that she walks into any function just by who she is, just with her normal face and with a normal sari, and she just goes. She's the first lady. And she's being respected more by the wise for she being like that. And ඔය කරන argument එකේ, there's no grounds in that argument. It's only our not having that confidence that we are doing all this. But why we are not confident? Because we haven't got enough goodness and wisdom in us. Not much unconditional love, kindness, compassion, patience, wisdom. All the good dasa paramita is we don't have. So I have is sense about I, me, myself, and the ego. So you can't please the ego. For the ego, how much you have, no matter how much you have, what you have is not enough. This is why now not only when you have gray hair or the white hair you die, now you have to color your black hair, this side pink, this side green. Even then it's not happy. Later you will have to put it to 4 quarters and one blue, one green, one this, one that, like that. Even then you won't be happy. So this is how it's going to go. This is not the way to be happy, way to find confidence. So please teach this your kids as well, the young children as well. Because nowadays, because we are empty in our heart and we try to stimulate the senses and find happiness, and we haven't paid attention to your heart and mind, and we are not developing our good human qualities and getting the real proper quality, good quality happiness. Our children do the makeup before they go to school. I have seen some children, Sri Lankan children, they are going to school with makeup, full blown makeup. Those days we only had that type of a makeup for a bride, because if they had flaws in their face and everyone's attention is on them, they wanted to build up their self-confidence. They did that to show the in-laws and everyone, look how pretty I am, to do that. But today the children, they go to school like what the makeup they do to a bride. Anyway, this is all because of no knowledge, no understanding how to get the real happiness. So if you can teach the children how to bring the real happiness, then we really need to discuss these things and teach. This way we can't get happiness, and only the stupid people do these things, and this is asking for cancer. And when you know all that and you do it, you really don't have a real proper good quality thinking brain. It's almost like a retarded brain. That's why you keep doing these damaging things to you, damaging your pocket, your parents, and your salary and all that. So recently we had someone passed away while driving, sleeping. There's so many accidents now. Why people are sleepy? Why working so much? Why want so much money? Why not enough money? We want. So when we are sleepy, I've been teaching all these days, don't drive when you're sleepy. It's very selfish. You just work from morning to night, night to morning, and you walk. And what about the other person who walks in the street? What about the other person your vehicle goes and hit? What wrong have they done? So many funerals. Why? Because they're being fallen asleep while driving. Why? Not enough money. So we need to really reduce our expenditure now. Unnecessary cost we need to cut down. So this makeup is a totally an unnecessary cost. It doesn't give you anything. So when you do that, you will find it's such a relief for your pocket. We really don't have to work full time. We can even go part time. We can, even if you enjoying your work and it's not really tiring, you are doing it, then you can use this money that you're wasting on that to do some good charity. When you do that and seeing others getting comfortable, they are doing well, and you resonate with that and you bring happiness, you're activating your parasympathetic. This is why we need to practice the Rasaparamita, starting from Dana, being able to giving and seeing others benefit from that, and that brings happiness because it activates the parasympathetic. This is how we strengthen ourselves. So we need to really find how to be really happy and how to find the good quality happiness, how to find the real genuine happiness that will last long for us and that will help us to develop ourselves. My car, my petrol, my money. So why can't I do makeup? You can, but you're not going to get good quality happiness. It's only stimulating your senses and it's only bringing you rubbish happiness, and it's not even going to last, and you're also going to get, with this stress, you will only lose your good health and long life, and you will only have a very weak body, weak mind, and short life. This is why it's important to restrain your senses and not just do this, engage in these silly things. ඉතින් ඔය නච්ච ගීත වාදිත විසූක දර්ශන මාලා ගන්ධ විලේපන ධාරණ මණ්ඩන කතාවේ කියන්නේ ඒකයි. Please restrain your senses. Don't do these silly stupid things. Don't stimulate them. You rest them. You only use them when you want to use it for a good purpose. So you will refrain from doing all that. And the other thing is Vikala Bhojana means you will only eat timely. After midday, you won't eat, and you're not going to eat for the taste. මේක තමයි අනික් ප්‍රශ්නේ. දැන් වෙලාව කීයද?
Then Bhikshuni Mahata 10:26 Sri Lanka time. Will there be time for questions during this session, or we take it at one?
අපි පස්සේ මේවා කරමු නේද? මොකද අටසිල් සමාදන් වෙන්නත් එපා. We need to observe the precepts as well after discussing this.
Yes, yes.
And so this is the other one, the big one, the tongue problem. So what the Buddha is saying is, eat to get rid of your hunger, eat to sustain the life. So you put the fuel so the body can run, the body can be alive, and it can help you. We need to be alive to get to our destination, to experience this best happiness that is available, the bliss of Nibbana. And so we want to live. To live, we need to support the body. How do you get the energies? By your food. So we need to give it the proper food at the proper times. Now it is understood really, if you eat the morning and the daytime and the night and in between all the time, it does more damage than the good. And they say a lot of these diseases, the diabetic and a lot of the heart problems, the high blood pressure, this, that, and the other, a lot of things are actually due to people abusing food. Now we have too much. So easy access, eat all the time. We don't eat with meaning anymore. Just because it's there and we like it, we want to stimulate our tongue and get some quick pleasure, because we have a dull mind and we can't stand that dullness. It feels lonely. If you're not angry, if you don't have anxiety and worries, if you don't have lust, or if you don't have any desire burning, if you're not sad, at least you feel lonely, because your mind is so dull. It's not happy at any moment. So we try to please our senses here, there, do this, do that. And the other way we stimulate ourselves is the tongue, looking for this food. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to eat with understanding. So Buddha is saying, eat knowing the limit and eat it at the right times. So our enzymes are associated with the sun. We have a circadian rhythm in the body. The body works, there's a rhythm, a clock that works with the sun. So when the sun is at the peak, that's when all the gastric juices, enzymes comes to the optimum level. So you give the food at that level, it will get digested and it will get absorbed. And that's it. We can absorb that energy and it will work for us. It will do good for us and we can live a healthy life. But what happens, more and more the sun goes down in the evening, our body temperature changes, our things changes, so the enzymes that comes reduces, the effectiveness is reduced. So when we eat a lot of heavy things in the evening, it doesn't get digested properly, so you can't absorb properly. So it's a waste, and undigested food can sometimes get stuck into your bowels, and then it can create problems, and not just a constipation, but it can lead to even cancer. So what you eat gets digested is very important. Undigested food can create a lot of problems. It can create toxins, it can affect the liver, and can even end up with cancer. So we need to eat the food that it's easy to digest and at proper times, with proper amounts. With, but pata means this much. So that we have to have a limit to what we eat. Otherwise, again, if you eat too much, there is no space for the water and the air. It can't really churn properly and digest properly. So this is why Buddha said to know the limit, to eat and have few morsels. At the end, you don't eat the last 2 or 3. You leave it and you give little bit of water, you drink bit of water, and then you have to have space the air in the tummy. So it has space to turn around and to work. So you don't eat until your tummy feels so full. Only when you feel like it's getting full, you have to stop it there. But today we can't. We don't have much control. Rahanang kano. Rahanang kano. Anyway, if others' blood and the flesh tastes nice, we don't mind killing. We don't mind getting someone else to kill. We don't mind paying them and buying it from them. We know killing is not good. We know it's not something nice. We know all that. We know that Buddha had said not to trade the fish and the meat. It's one of the trades that Buddha had discouraged. Buddha has said not to earn money from. The trading the slaves, trading the fish and the meat, trading the weapons, trading the firearms, trading the poisons, and trading alcohol, liquor, drugs, and all that. See, they're all damaging. So we know good people will not engage in these things. Only the stupid will engage because it's damaging to them and to the others. So if someone is killing and selling them, it's not our duty to encourage that wrong thing to go on and on and on. What they are doing is something bad, something nasty, something cruel. They are treating animals cruelly. They're killing the animals. And you know that in samsara, we say our mother, our father can be born as a chicken or a cow. Who knows? So we shouldn't terrorize them. We should not treat them like this and kill them. So they can be born in now in the more lower realm. When we see animals, you want to treat them nicely, with loving kindness, with compassion, so they can live, peacefully, and they can die peacefully. So when they die peacefully, they can be born in a better place. This is what the humans are supposed to do. Human beings are the most evolved on the planet. They are to look after all the younger ones, the less evolved ones. That's what you expect from the eldest son or the eldest daughter from the family, to look after the young, not to abuse the young, not to eat the young, not to use the young to get their work done so they can live an easy life. That's a wrong way. That's abusing power. It's natural. It's in the animal world where the most powerful use their power to kill others, to use others, so they can live a very comfortable, easy life. But we understand more and more, develop our brain, we understand it's wrong. It's a wrong way to live. It's not good. The good way to live is to reduce stress from others, to live a stress-free life. So then the ones who have the most power must help the weaker ones to bring them also to a comfortable level. So we need to help them with loving kindness, compassion. We need to look after them. They also can live a good life. That is the good way. That is how we should be helping. So we are human beings. We are not to, give more trouble and pain. As it is, the animals are suffering. Even mother, father doesn't help them. They are so helpless. When they are sick, no one is there for them. When they are old, no one is looking after them. They are so afraid that someone else will come and kill their own son, own daughter can come and kill them. They live like that. This is why we install that program into our children. When we grow old, with gratitude that your mother, your father spent everything on you, so you must look after your parents. Just because they are useless now, because they are sick and they are old and they can't do anything, you don't, throw them out, or you don't, use them for your benefit. You look after them. We do this with gratitude. It's difficult to do now. Only when they were young and doing to us, they were good to us. They were useful to us. Now that they are sick and old, they can't do anything, no good. So therefore, we neglect, we put them in the aged care, we get rid of them. We don't do that. We human beings develop gratitude. And out of gratitude that they have looked after us, they brought us here, they did so much sacrifices. Now they are not capable. We are there to look after them. So now they can die peacefully. They know that someone is there to look after them. When they are in trouble, when they can't do things, when they can't look after themselves, they know my children are there. So they are peaceful. So they can die peacefully. That's how we are developing our society, to reduce the stress, to bring more peace and happiness. But this is not in the animal realm. So we must, help the animals, not kill them and eat them, as Buddha had advised not to do that. So if some idiot is doing it, even putting their life at danger, not knowing that they will go to bad realms because they are killing, and they are damaging these, animals, their lives in this life, and even the next life is doomed for them, because when they are so much in terror and fear and they go and die like that, that is not good. So we Buddhists need to understand this. Why we let all this happen is just to make this 6-inch tongue happy. We close our eyes, we give a blind eye to all this cruelty that others do to others. If I'm happy, that's it. Who cares? That's not being a Buddhist. We need to care for each other. We need to live in a way that we will not inflict stress on others. This is why we started from Pansil. This is why in the Pansil, the first one is Panatipata Veramani Sikkapadam Samadhyami. I will not hurt, harm, or give suffering, or worst suffering you can give them, the worst terror you can give them is to kill them. I will not do all that. Why? It's not good. If someone does it to me, I don't like it, therefore I don't do it to another. So if no one, if everyone is abiding by this, no one will kill, then you can't eat. But what we are doing now, because the stupid people are doing this, they are not seeing the danger, how it is dangerous and damaging to the environment, how they are clearing the forest and making the farms, and how it's so damaging to the environment that these terrorized animals are sad, animals are producing their sad, these thought waves. That's not good. And when you eat these animals who are always angry or afraid or going through some emotion, the toxins in them, all that hormones, you are eating, and it's not digestible and it's so toxic. It's not good for us. So there's so many reasons why we should not be eating. But why we choose to eat out of all this, even knowing that they can even be cancerous? Because to please our tongue, because the tongue can't eat without the taste of the blood, without that texture. So now you have to take control of your tongue. You have to tell, no point you eating bulat dunkala hunu. What's the point of you eating the beetle and that tobacco leaf and this hunu when it's purely causing cancer? It's a cancerous thing. You are not gaining anything, only cancer. And out of all the cancers, the worst cancer is the tongue cancer, or the cancer that comes in your mouth. Because any other cancer, you feel hungry, you can drink. You feel thirsty, you can drink. If you're hungry, you can eat. But when you have a cancer in your mouth, you can't do that. It's like drinking the fire. It's like you eating fire. It's so difficult to swallow, to eat. Everything burns your tongue and the mouth. But the tongue that asks for that nasty thing to be eaten, it's not going to come to help you when you have cancer. It's not going to share your suffering and say, you don't suffer, I will do it, or I will get rid of it. No. That's why I say the tongue don't have a brain, so don't do the things that's going to damage it. So the same way, the tongue will ask for this fish and the meat and the, the sugary things and the processed food and the flour and the bread, all these MSG, all the not good things that they are very sharp. They stimulate our senses. the sensory nerves, you give them, it will only do damage to us. So it's to us that use the brain and control the tongue and tell the tongue, no, you are not getting this. You only get only the good things, the healthy things for the body. So like that, we need to control. So don't become a slave to your tongue. So when you eat, it's about disciplining how you eat, what time you eat, and all that. See, Buddha had covered the whole lot, all the senses. So there's no loopholes. So you need, when you are eating, you need to eat consciously. You need to eat using your wisdom, knowing why you're eating. And we do minimum damage to the environment. Even to take a plant and eat, it's damaging. But for you to live and to become an arahat, you need to eat. Otherwise, you can't, live and get enlightened. So to do that, we minimally do the damage. But පුළුවන් තරම් අහිංසක විදියට ජීවත් වෙනවා. We try to live so innocently as much as possible, not even being part of that cruel chain. Let them do it, but we are not paying the money and paying their salary and supporting it. We are staying aside. And if we know some type of a food is not healthy, we even refuse it. We don't take it. If there is MSG, if there's certain dyes, if there's this sugar, and processed food and food with flour, whatever that is not agreeable with us, and you know it, when you eat, you get bloating, you feel that you're very uncomfortable. You need to watch your food, what is good for you, what is not good for you, and what is in the research, the proper good ones. Then you will know what Buddha had taught. Then you will know what to eat, what not to eat. So eat, if you go with the plant-based food, it's very healthy for you. There's nothing that is, it can't do much damage to us. There will be some damage when you eat anyway. There is oxidative stress. So every time when you eat, it releases free radicals. This is why we need to limit the food intake. Once or twice is enough. That energy that is when we eat once or twice, the food that we eat, that releases the energy, that's enough to run the machine 24 hours with minimum free radical damage. Because free radical damage is like you allow iron to a lot of oxygen, it gets corroded. Malakada kano. Malakada kala yakade vinas vena. The same way, when you allow too much oxidative stress to happen, too much oxygen free radicals to come into your body from that burning the food. In one way, you are getting rid of your hunger, you are getting energy, but on the other side, it's damaging you. It's slowly again killing. So this is why we want to minimize the damage. We need to eat, so we eat carefully with a limit. So Buddha had pointed out not to eat after the midday. After the midday, drink. Whatever you want to drink, drink. Take light things. So it's easy to digest, minimum damage, but it will release energy. You'll be okay. Now, there are a few doctors, even there is someone called, I think Dr. Vannamu, someone said in Sri Lanka, but here they are doing it. Most of the Ayurveda doctors and a lot of the medical doctors also recommending it. It's called intermittent fasting. The Dr. Vannamu, apparently he says he don't give any medication or anything to the diabetic people. He even stop whatever if they are on the drugs. But he says to fast. After midday, don't eat anything until the next day morning. And I have a devotee in our monastery who followed his method, and husband and wife, they are both, the sugar levels are now come back to normal. After about 1 month, I think. Only fasting. It's called the intermittent fasting in this part of the world. And the foreigners also are following it. because it's so beneficial. So it's more beneficial to leave an empty stomach than keeping it full all the time. And only now the people are realizing the value of this intermittent fasting. But 2,500 years ago, Buddha advised this to us, to have a limit on taking the food. Don't be greedy and eat. Don't eat just because you have it. Share it with others. If you have too much, you share it with others. Don't keep on and eating. Just my car, my petrol. No, it's not good for you. If you have excess, you share with people who don't have food. You only eat that the little amount that's needed to run the machine just for 24 hours. And you refuel the next day. So more you keep it empty, now the research is showing it's much better for your body, for if you want to live a healthy, long life. And that's about the Vikala Bhojana Vedamani Sikkapadam Samadhyam. So you can see how beneficial it is if you can follow these 8 precepts. So do it as long as you can. Now I will come to that Abrahmacharya Vedamani Sikkapadam Samadhyam. Means, you know, we use our body also to stimulate ourselves and to get that quick pleasure. But that way, it only adds a nervous stress, but you don't get a real, proper, good quality happiness. That's why Buddha says to even give that up. Don't stimulate your body parts and get happiness, because people can get addicted to this. But then you lose the bodily fluids that really sustains your energy. What you're losing is energy. When you get addicted to these certain types of behaviors. So Buddha says, live like the Brahma. Brahma don't stimulate the 5 senses and get happiness, but Brahmas are happy as a result of they live with unconditional loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, and upekka, metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. Those are the Brahma viharas. Because the Brahmas are living with them, they are so happy. So Buddha is saying, learn to live like a Brahma. Abrahmacharya Vedamani. Learn to live like a child, Brahma. Don't use these, vulgar things and these carnivorous things, and this is how the animals also live. Don't stimulate your senses and try to get happiness. You give up this low kind of pleasures to get a higher, good quality happiness. This is a trading. But you're doing the trading now because you know about the good quality one and you want it. So you can't have it while you're enjoying this low quality type of pleasures. You have to give it up. More you give up, more you will get closer to the higher grade one, the good quality one. That's what the meaning is. So Buddha is saying practice that. So, but if you're living a family life, and you have to be there for the others, so out of compassion you need to be there for others. You can't say, I'm taking 8 precepts, so blah blah blah. So this is the problem with when you're living a worldly lay life. You need to be there for the other one, even if you don't want to. So out of compassion you need to be there, but make sure you're not doing it to find pleasure. That's the thing. Or you can observe the rest of the 7, but make sure the whole point of it is not even you do that, those activities to find pleasure, because it's not a real proper way to get real proper happiness. It will only hinder. Anyway, now what's the time?
Now it's 10:50 a.m. Bhikkhuni Mahasaya.
So we can observe the 8 precepts, and then observing means with understanding. So you have to put it to practice, incorporate it to your day-to-day life. If you have a question regarding this, what I just mentioned now, because you didn't understand properly, it's important to understand it and observe it. So if you have a question regarding this that you didn't understand, you can ask that. then we can observe the 8 precepts. Someone had a question before.
Bhikkhuni Vahansa, a question has come on the group. May I read it out?
Yes.
The question is, Venerable Meherin Vahansa, from our 6 senses, we take in various inputs, and at each sense door, when we grasp it as mine, and then the process occurs where Pancha Upadana Skandha arises as a natural phenomena. It occurs through the Vijnana. We already have the Purana Karma that we are. So whatever we see as the outside world being responsible for the stress that arises within us, actually caused by our own tendencies. We already, from previous births and this lifetime, we have lived. I hope you're following this. I'm reading as I have got it, Bhikkhuni. So the Patisotagami journey is to recognize this and work as the Buddha has instructed us. Is my understanding correct? Ata-Sil and other means of disciplining we do to contain ourselves is all directed to this, and one day be able to not have the Pancha Upadana Skandha arise anymore. Please comment and correct if I have understood anything incorrectly. Thank you for your clear guidance and relating to the real life we are leading. Teruvan Saranai.
Yeah, I won't take much time. I'll give you a quick answer, but we can discuss it in lengthy afterwards. So it's not about, you cannot stop arising of the Panchupadana-skandha only when you are an arahat. Because every time when your senses are stimulated, how the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching is happening is by this activity, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana, even Rahatan Vahanses. This is how the senses are working by this, but they don't have the Upadana part because there is wisdom. Because of the wisdom, they see it for what it is, so they are not getting attached, or they are not getting going into conflict with it. They don't have greed, the hatred, or even the delusion. So, how to get to that point? Yes, it is a noble eightfold path. So we have to follow the noble eightfold path. When you do that, with starting with that samyak drushti, with the proper understanding, you can get to the Samma Samadhi, where you end up becoming a fully enlightened being, an arahat. Only at that point, this process, you will understand it for what it is, so there won't be any upadana. Yes, all these practices are to help you to get there, because it's very important for you to learn how not to stimulate your senses and try to get this not worth things full of consequences following you just for a few seconds happiness. So it's not worth the stress you have to go through to get that short-term, temporarily, this junky happiness. This is why, with understanding, then we learn to more and more rest and relax the senses and let go and appreciate more the relaxation. And when you appreciate the relaxation and you take more and more time to relax and you purify the mind, more relaxation, it actually down regulates a stress cycle that I will show you in a scientific research. And that means it is helping you to reduce your stress levels, to reduce your dukkha, and at the same time we are practicing developing the wisdom, so you are getting rid of yourself, then it will bypass the stress cycle and be free from all kinds of suffering. So me yana path එක importance එක ඒකයි අර the happiness. So there's two types of happinesses. That one type of the happiness that you get has a lot of not worth consequences, lot of stress. So this is why that is to give up. And there is another type of a happiness we can get by not stressing. But when you practice the properly, main practice is to give up pleasing your senses, give up getting caught up in this pleasant feeling and unpleasant feeling. And then when you develop your wisdom, you will get a good quality happiness that has no bad consequences, that has no stress attached to it. That will only lead you to make you more and more comfortable, more and more peaceful, more and more happy, more and more light, more you can be more and more floating up. And so the wise people choose that one. But because we are addicted now to that junk kind of the happiness, letting go of that becomes a big deal. But with understanding, it will naturally come, because we will feel like we are fools or stupid to hold on to that when there is such a treasure here, such a potential in your brain to, experience this good quality, stable happiness, that you don't have to spend a cent or do anything to get that happiness. We are fools to not to do it. It's like that. So then it doesn't become a sacrifice for you to tame your senses or discipline your senses. So 8 precepts is like that. So it has to come naturally to you. And I'm so glad that it has come naturally to you all. So that's a point. Okay. So we can discuss it even after the Dhamma talk. And so 1 o'clock I'll see you. So now, with understanding, take the 8 precepts. For how long you want to keep it, you determine. Whether it's only for today, or you want to try it for a week, or you want to keep it for the rest of the life, do it. If you break it, if something happens, it's okay. You stop it there, and then you can do it again. There's nothing fixed here. No one is going to beat you with a stick. No one is going to do that. It's self-discipline. You yourself can do it, and you know what your training now is all about. So you make the determination. So at least for today and until the next day morning. And if someone wants to do it long term, very good. So we'll do that. So if there is no other question about what we being discussing this morning, now we can observe the 8 precepts. So now you understand, you know what you're doing. Are you all happy to observe 8 precepts? Maybe we can try for a week until we meet next week. How's that?
Sounds good, Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good, good. All right. So let's do it then. So let's worship Lord Buddha, pay our respect to Lord Buddha for showing us this path. And when the whole world is leading us in the wrong direction and giving us wrong instructions and putting us into more and more stressful situations, giving us the hope that we will get happiness, only the Buddha had come to save us. Only the Buddha showed us the right path, the proper path, so we can be really experiencing a good quality happiness in life, and we can end up the suffering, we can end the stress, and we can be free from the suffering. It was only the Buddha who really helped us, and that was the only intention of the Buddha, that Buddha wanted to help all of us to find freedom from suffering. So let's put our palms together, bring it to your top of the forehead, and let's pay our respect. Let's worship our Lord Buddha, the Lord Buddha's goodness and the wisdom. And let's take the refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, knowing that no one else can give us any kind of refuge. It's only the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha can help us, so that we can help ourselves. So then we will observe the 8 precepts. Okay, let's pay respect to the Lord Buddha. You can unmute your mics and say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, and let's pay respect and worship the Lord Buddha.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dharana Gamanang Sampunnang
Ambante
Panatipata Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Panatipata Viramani Sikkhapadang.
Adinadana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Viramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Brahmacharya Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Brahmacharya Viramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Mustavada Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Mustavada Viramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Namiraya Majjapamadatthana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Vikala Bhojana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Nacha Gita Vadita Visuka Dasana Mala Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandala Vibhushanatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Chapulana Mahasayana Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Chayasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sadding pancha silang dhammang sadukang surakitang katva appamadena sampade tabhang. So now that you have observed the 8 precepts, so just be conscious of it and then train yourselves. I know it's not an easy job to train your 5 senses, but use your brain and then instruct them, and then you can take care of your chitta part. Okay, so I will give you a break now. So go and have your lunch and eat it with understanding, not looking for the taste, but you're going to use it to get rid of your hunger and to sustain your life. And eat it with a lot of loving kindness and with gratitude to people who offer it to you. And when you even do that, that simple act, you do it with gratitude, it will activate your parasympathetic, it will relax you and be happy. And so do that and then rest. And then we will meet you about 1 o'clock, and I have a documentary to show you about this, how these neuroscientists have now understood these 2 parts and how it affects us. And so you will see the value of the Buddha's teaching, how it's, wired in here and how it's working inside. When you practice this, what happens inside of you? So you gain more insight into your practice, and so it's not a blind thing to do, but it makes changes in you when you practice. And we have that, so you can practice with more understanding. And we can discuss a sutta as well associated with this. And then you can ask questions, and then we can do some answers, and we can spend the day like that. Okay. All right then. So I wish you all the best, and Teruvan Saranai. So Patewa.
Teruvan Saranai.